Hi everyone, my name is Digvijay and welcome back to my YouTube channel Pick Up Pencil. In today's video, we are going to learn about Java bytecode. So Java bytecode is really a powerful mechanism which makes Java a portable and platform independent programming language. So before really getting into what bytecode really is and how it gets generated, let's look at two other software components which goes along and makes this bytecode as a magical code.
First is the compiler, which basically generates the bytecode or the machine code of our Java program, and the second is the interpreter, which actually executes the bytecode on the system. This interpreter is also called as JVM or Java Virtual Machine. So in short, basically bytecode is the common piece between compiler, which creates it, and the interpreter or JVM, which actually runs it. So let's look at this whole phenomena step by step in detail by an example. Let's suppose you are writing your first Java program. You created a class, created a method in it where you want to output a statement. Basically, this code which you have right now on the screen is called Java source code. And next, what you want to do is you want to run it. So let's do that.
So when we write our Java program, we do not write it in the form of machine code. We typically write our Java code in a high-level programming language like C, C++, or Java. And these programming languages are the modern programming languages where the instructions are not like a machine code looking language, but they are in the form of plain, simple English statements. So now the question comes up, how compiler and interpreter takes our Java source code.
So if you try submitting your code as is to JVM and ask JVM to run it for you, hey JVM, please execute my Java code, and there you go. No, you see, JVM didn't like it and saying, I don't understand it. But why? As I said before, JVM or interpreter does not understand our code written in plain English statement. It needs the binary version of the code, which is also called as machine code. So now the final question comes up, how do we get the machine code out of our simple Java source code that we have just written? And this is where we need a help from our good friend compiler. And our good friend compiler says, yes, I will do the job. So Java compiler is installed on the machine as a part of Java installation process. And when you save your file, once done with your coding, then Java compiler will compile your Java code, like the source code, into the machine code. So it converts that code into the machine code. And this machine code is nothing but the magical bytecode that we have been talking about. So now, since we have the machine code or a binary version of our source code or the bytecode, if we make the same request again to JVM to run our code, we can say, hey JVM, I got the machine code this time. Will you please execute my bytecode? And let's see. Yay, there you go. JVM said yes, and JVM is happily able to execute our bytecode this time.
So in short, compiler generates the bytecode or the machine code in the form of a file. We call it as a class file, and then JVM executes the bytecode. There is one last aspect of the bytecode I want to cover today. So whenever you execute the compiled bytecode, you may not necessarily want to run that bytecode on one machine like Windows, right? So you may want to run that code on Windows, on Mac OS, or maybe on a different system altogether like Linux system. So that is why we need a different JVM or a different interpreter for each types of system so that they can run the bytecode. But remember, the output of the code will never get changed irrespective of the machine, because it's the same bytecode that's being running on each type of machine. So remember, JVM gets changed for a different type of system, but bytecode does not. That is the reason bytecode is the magical code that makes Java a platform independent language.
So that's all for today, and thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed watching this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Pick Up Pencil. Thank you. See you next time.